Okay, we are live here at Infor Velocity, which is a annual conference. Actually, it's not just an annual conference; it's a series of conferences that Infor does to just share some of the roadmap items that are happening within the Infor ecosystem. They do these events throughout the world, and I'm here live. My name's Eric Kimberling. I'm streaming to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, X, and TikTok. So thanks for being here wherever you're joining from. I'm going to walk around here at the conference. Very informal. It's very shaky. Got some shaky camera footage here because I'm holding the camera. But we'll get the content down here. But I'm here. I'm going to walk around and talk to some people. And I've got some people lined up to talk to you just to figure out what's going on here in the ecosystem of Infor, what's new, what's exciting, all that good stuff. So joining me are two people that I know well from PCG. So to start, tell me a bit about yourself, Dan, and then we'll ask you more about PCG in general. But tell me about your background. You have quite the illustrious history here in the Infor world.
Yeah, so I started off with a company. Started off with a company called Bond Company in the 90s, which was one of the original ERP pioneers. Was with them for about 3 years, and then built my own consulting firm, doing Infor LN, which is a predecessor of what is the Infor CloudSuite now. So I actually get to be a director of marketing now, which is wonderful.
And the ERP doctor.
And the ERP doctor, that's correct. Yes.
You're a content machine. You're putting out lots of stuff, podcasts, videos, LinkedIn posts. So be sure to follow Dan Fulbridge if you don't already. He's got some great stuff there.
Thanks.
Hey, bet.
Yeah, Eric, thank you very much. My name is David Ploy, like Dan. I'm an old Bond guy, started back in 96 on Triton 2.2. So we're all embedded a lifetime inside of this product suite, which is now LN. So as BCG, we have well over 20 years of experience across multiple industries, aerospace and defense, automotive, so on and so forth. And we're just delighted to be here and share the story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining me here on camera. I guess my first question for you is if we back up a second, you guys have both seen a lot in the Infor space. I'm going to ask you about PCG in particular here in a minute, the product suite, overall direction of Infor. But in the meantime, tell us a little bit about what you've seen. What are the biggest things you've seen change in the world of Infor? Because you guys have been here forever, or been involved in the ecosystem forever.
Yes, forever. We've been here forever.
You're not that old, but you might be. But going back to the Bond days, you go way back to the days of Bond, and you know Jan Bond, and you kind of the legacy Infor guys. So tell us what are the biggest changes you've seen in the last couple decades?
The biggest change is probably the cloud suites for sure. Have everything on the cloud now. Infor is almost 100% cloud now, so we don't do on-prem anymore, and that gives us a lot of license with things like agentic AI and the Velocity suites and all these things that are coming. So it's very exciting right now.
Totally different than when you started in the late 90s?
Yeah.
2000s?
Yeah. We're going through screens and putting in purchase orders and things like that.
Numbers.
Yeah, transaction numbers. Yep, all of that stuff.
How about you, David? What have you seen change, or what are the most exciting changes you see in the last couple of days?
Some of the most exciting changes, I think, is just Infor's openness in the partner community, how they enable their partners, providing us with all the tools that is necessary to make the customer successful, continuous innovation, as we've seen with the agents that they're launching this week. How they've worked with us to integrate our intellectual property, a smart factory that is a full manufacturing execution system that we've fully integrated in for LN right now. It's just been a fantastic journey. Open partner support from the development team to the partner teams to the sales orgs.
Right. Now, a lot of people watching right now may know Infor, they may know Sightline or M3 or CloudSuite, Bond, Lawson, one of the many solutions that
legacy solutions.
Yeah, legacy solutions. But you guys, tell us a little bit about, you started to answer this a bit. Tell us a little bit about Smart Factory and how does that factor into the overall strategy the Infor has? It's a little bit different than other vendors that are trying to be the one size fits all answer for everyone. Tell us a little bit about Smart Factory.
Sure, you bet.
And then tell us how.
So we've identified a gap, so to speak, in the market for a cloud-based MES solution born in the cloud, and we've integrated that fully with LN. So Infor itself has got a great MES product that's on-prem today, and we've got Smart Factory that is in the cloud but fully integrated to LN. So Infor customers have the choice of the best of both worlds.
Right. Yeah. And it's how does this tie into what we're hearing here at the event with Infor Velocity and Infor OS and some of the more, I call it the composable ERP. I know you talk a lot about this too, Dan, but how does your strategy with PCG Smart Factory, the product you've developed, how does that tie into Infor's strategy?
So great question. It's completely tied in with the OS, using the data streams, Industry 5.0, human in the loop. And as you talk about composable ERP and using microservices to extend that, our MES solution is also a composable MES solution. So we can take a customer's on a crawl, walk, run journey. So instead of taking a whole monolithic MES solution and people have real difficulty with integrating from day one, we can take the customer on that journey of crawl, walk, run to solve a critical pain point, get the win, solve another critical pain point, get the win. And as I said, the beauty of it is through working with Infor, it is 100% integrated to the Infor LN platform today.
That's great. Now, Dan, when you think of this as a marketing guy here at the event at Infor Velocity, what's the most exciting thing that you've heard so far? If there's one thing that jumps out. I know that these events are always overwhelming. There's so much stuff they're now seeing new things on the roadmap. Some of it's here, some of it's in the works. But what's the one thing that just stood out as like, hey, the Infor's got this right?
It's probably the ability to have a very fast upgrade from a lot of the different legacy platforms. So that's could be, in our case, we have 2 ERPs. Basically no other firms have that. So we have CSI, which is used to be called Sightline, and we also have Industrial Enterprise, which used to be called LN. And so we're able to do it on both. And then we have our own IP. So that's very exciting. And then all the tools that come with the Velocity suite, I think, is also very exciting. So the process mining, process catalogs we've been using for a few years, but the mining tools have come along a lot. And the RPA has been enhanced with the agentic AI. So I think that's very exciting as a rule. And, the fact that we have IP that nobody else has.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this MES solution is a cloud-based solution, like Devette said, and Infor MES, very good product, which we offer.
Yeah.
But it's only on-prem at the moment. So we've got that whole solution set, and if we were offering just CSI, for example, then we can only service the SMBs, right? So we can do SMB and enterprise now, and we can, advise you on the choice, like you guys do, right?
Yeah.
Advise you on the best fit, and make a choice for the customer.
Yeah. So for those that may not be familiar with Infor Velocity, could you summarize for the audience here, people who maybe are just exploring Infor, maybe they're not as familiar with the tool set? Because I think more people, in my opinion, in experience, more people have heard of Sightline, M3, CloudSuite. But I think Infor Velocity is relatively new, right? It just doesn't have the same
Pretty new
name recognition.
Maybe a couple years.
How would you describe it if you were to summarize what it is?
One word: access. And this is what Infor is just brilliant at. All Infor's senior executive leadership team is here, from business to marketing to sales to the product team. So customers have access to Infor's executives to give them direct feedback. As partners, we get to meet with our customers and Infor's executive to solution on the fly, whether it's a pain point or where it's going to land on the roadmap or potentially accelerate certain things. So I just cannot commend them more than we are by providing that access to customers and partners at events like Velocity. We have this one. We just had the one in Amsterdam, and they had the same access to the executive team there. So these guys travel the world and care about their customers.
Yeah, I like the idea that they're going to the customers rather
Exactly.
than having one big, massive
global
event. They're going all over the world.
For sure. Yeah, I also wanted to talk a little bit about the industry focus that Infor has. So makes our job a lot easier if we can go into aerospace and defense, we can go into automotive, we can go into all these different manufacturing type verticals, micro verticals they call them, and have business models that are already set up for that business process mapping, and then the mining that goes on top of that. So you can figure out what processes are being used in the old software, and then how that maps to the new.
So it's really tying together the systems, even if it's not an Infor system, right? If I've got a legacy CPQ system or CRM or something like that, and I want to tie it to the Infor suite, and do that through Velocity.
That's actually one of the big advantages of it, and that's what the executives have been talking about. Yeah. Is that it ties into other systems. So they talk about SAP. You can tie into that if you want. And then the ERPs can work, and then you can put things in the data lake also, data lake and data fabric, in order to take from different sources, including other ERPs, brands, vendors.
That's huge. And in fact, I want to ask you something because I know you work on the NetSuite side as well, and I know this is an Infor conference. We're here to talk mainly about Infor today, but I do want to ask you about NetSuite and how it ties to PCG. So one thing that I find fascinating about Smart Factory and what you guys are doing in PCG is that you built the Smart Factory for NetSuite.
Originally, yes.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah.
And NetSuite to me has always been the product that I would have thought would have been the least likely to open up to outside integration, open up its platform, and it's really embraced that model. And you guys are good demonstration of that. Do you think that's where the market's headed in general, outside of NetSuite and Infor? Do you think more companies are going to open up their platforms to third-party developers like you guys to create?
Well, I think if they want to survive, the answer is yes. Look, the buyers in the industry has completely changed. People are focused on collaboration and acceleration, and you're not going to do that by trying to hide yourself in a box.
Right.
So we are expanding the integration to CSI and to M3 in the not too distant future. But yeah, my belief is if an ERP system or an OEM chooses to remain in a box, they're writing their own future.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's meant to be an agnostic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Definitely meant to be agnostic for ERPs.
Right. Good. Well, what else do you guys? What else would you share with the audience? Those that couldn't make it to this Velocity or any of the other Velocity events, what what advice would you give to people watching that are thinking about Infor, or even if they're not sure if they want to consider it? They're just looking at their enterprise tech initiative, trying to figure out what to do next. I mean, what's the one piece of advice you give?
Well, I would say plan ahead. Again, the access to knowledge is in a couple of days. Come back with leadership. Come back with ideas. Come back with very, very key knowledge sharing presentations. It's going to take you months and months and months to gain that knowledge. So focus, pick your event that works for you, and come learn, come network. I know that is L and N, but but that's what it's all about.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? You do a lot of thought leadership around this topic. What advice would you give to someone who's just getting ready to get started?
Yeah, I think it would be to get your data clean. Use AI tools to clean your data sets. Feed good, strong data into your new system, so you get prepared for that. Do workshops to go through the business processes and everything, and map and mine those. And then you're pretty much ready to run when you get into it.
Yeah.
And not to launch in without doing the change management and doing all those other things that are so important to the success of a project, because as it's coming, all the users are pretty scared probably of AI and what's coming. So that becomes even more important to do the change management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, today, just this morning, I think it was, they announced 10% of Amazon's white collar workforce is being laid off.
Salespeople.
And
people
see
like
those
that.
Headlines and they think, oh crap, I don't want AI in my organization because that's going to affect me. So I think change management becomes even more important, even though that AI has so much power and potential. It is a threat.
I think to that point, when you listen, when Soma spoke in Amsterdam as well as here, and we fully subscribe to this, right? Is AI has really augmented intelligence, where from an industry 5.0 perspective for true digital transformation, we have to keep that human in the loop, right?
Yeah.
So automate everything that is routine and repurpose the workforce to grow the company.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would say is call PCG, because we can help you with that.
Yeah, exactly. And how do we learn more about PCG for those that aren't familiar with you? What's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
So the website is pcgservices.com. And we have another website just for Smart Factory called asmartfactory.com, all one word. And I have developed something called the PCG Insights Hub. So if you get to the main website there, the first menu, you drop it down and it says PCG Insights Hub. Got about 250 videos already,
Nice.
20 pages So it's really coming along really fast.
And that's agnostic, right? Even
That's
if they're not.
It has more of the stuff that we do, right? It has NetSuite and it has Sightline and it has, you know, CloudSuite LN. But
I found it helpful just in general. Like,
it is in general. I mean, like say take you enter a journal entry, for instance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how different is that in SAP as, you know, in Infor? You know, it doesn't really matter. And I have explanations of each of those videos underneath. I've got webinars there. I've got the shorts from the webinars that I've been doing, you know, the solutions review one. So a lot of that thought leadership type of material is going to be there as well.
Very cool. I appreciate your guys' time. Thanks for being here.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Devette. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Be sure to follow PCG Solutions and follow these guys on LinkedIn. And I'm going to walk around and find some of your colleagues here and keep the conversation going. So, Casey, yeah.
Good. Thanks.
Right. We're going to find another person to chat with.
Oh, we're still live? Yeah,
We're still live.
He is coming. I just have his laptop.
You want to be on camera?
I'll say hi.
For some of the conversations. Thanks for having us here.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being our guest.
What's the number one thing you're most excited about? I told you I wasn't going to interview, but here we are.
Here we are. Our agentic AI and how we're rolling out for our customers. I think it's very exciting. It's very descriptive. It's actually solving business challenges, not just wide open. Here's technology for technology's sake. Thank you. And it's going to be a lot of deep functionality that we're rolling out. So our customers are excited. The amount of phones I saw up taking pictures of slides during presentations just shows how excited they are. And they're going to be critical to providing that feedback loop to us and to our AI agents to make them better and see how we can really benefit our customers out there.
Yeah. A lot of talk about Infor Velocity and OS too. And I think that's a unique differentiator for you guys, something that not many vendors do.
It's a platform built on AWS. It's deeply integrated all the way down. And it's with our data lake, our analytics, and our AI built on top of that. It's kind of a ready-made platform that we can install for our existing customers, new customers, to integrate a lot of disparate systems that are, whether they're on-prem or in the cloud already. Very strong integration capabilities, data governance, security, on and on. So it allows customers that aren't necessarily ready for ERP upgrades or WMS upgrades, what have you, to still modernize and get off of their antiquated systems and then have a platform to scale and grow.
Gotcha. Cool. Thanks for being on camera, even though I promised I wouldn't ask you questions.
My pleasure.
Do you know where the
Alex should be coming down in just a moment.
Okay. If not, I can find Steve too. I lost him too. This is the beauty of live. I'm not turning off.
Yeah, I know. That's tough, right?
Let me see if I'll see if you find him first, and then. So this is actually a really good event. There's probably about 500 people here, and I think they said there's 300 or so customers here, and then a bunch of people from Infor as well. So they try to keep these fairly small, or relatively small, compared to the really big, massive ERP conferences that most vendors will do. So it's kind of cool that they're localizing a lot of this content too. And hopefully we can get to one of the ones outside the US as well for our international teams as well. So we've just got a couple people. It's like herding cats here, trying to get people all in the same place, as you can imagine. You know where Steve went by chance? Were you talking to Steve Levy a minute ago? Do you know where he went? Okay.
You look in there?
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I know it was this way, but I don't know if that way or this way. I'm sort of this.
Yeah, I know. I'll find it. Actually, very spread out of it too. They've got a lot of little breakout sessions and whatnot too, which makes it tons of content for the size of the conference it is. There's probably 6 or 7 tracks going on at any given time, so it's almost overwhelming just trying to keep up with it all. No luck. I was keeping go interview him right there in the middle. Yeah, I've got 2 more guests I'm going to talk to today. Tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be talking to Kevin Samuelson, who's the CEO of Infor. He'll be on my podcast tomorrow, as will Soma, who's the president and chief technology officer. So that'll be super interesting too to get those both on camera as well. Unfortunately, can't get them live here today, but tomorrow we'll get them for the podcast on later in the show for those of you that are watching the podcast episode. Lots of swag here too. If you, I feel like I have to get my money's worth. I didn't pay to come here, but if I did, I would have made sure to get my $800 worth of swag here, which you definitely can do. There's lots of good swag here. That's how they get you. That's how they get you to convince to come to these conferences. Lost them both.
Still trying to think.
It's just here.
I know.
I was watching him because I was worried he was going to leave, and then somehow he left. Probably knew I was about to get it.
He wanted to do this. I'm sure he did.
We interviewed the security guard in the meantime. What are your thoughts on the conference so far? No.
No,
Just
watching.
watching. Okay. No, you don't get that. They don't let you go listen. You can't go listen, or you get free food at least. No. Well, I'll sneak some out. If I see any snacks, I'll sneak some out. Found him. There you are. All over. How are you?
Good. Lecture.
Yeah, we're live. Are you okay?
I got about 13 minutes. So
13? Yeah, we'll make it fast. Perfect. So I'm gonna have you hang on to that.
Absolutely.
You can just hold it. Yep,
Yeah,
right there.
sure.
Perfect. Make sure it helped if you were on camera as well.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Alex. Who are you? What do you do here? All that
Sure.
stuff.
So I'm the Vice President for Transformation at Infor. I've been in the ecosystem about 8 years or so. Before that, a couple of years running operations for an aerospace defense manufacturer,
Okay.
and about 15 years before that, national security.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been fantastic. So I kind of sprinkle across a few areas. So sales support, product development in terms of approach and timeline for the industries, and supporting the product development team, and as well as supporting the strategy team.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what are you learning so far? What's the biggest piece of information or takeaway you've had? I know we're not completely through the conference yet. We got a lot more to
Sure.
cover, but what are you most excited about right now?
So, I mean, the AI agents that were debuted, Kevin and Soma came out and kind of showed us was absolutely fantastic. So seeing the evolution of that, you know, AI is seen as a catchphrase in a lot of places. Like, what does it actually mean? Is there something tangible? It's every company's, oh, we're doing AI. What does that actually mean? We've finally laid out the agents across the system, which is absolutely fantastic. And that continued investment is now becoming real. And we're seeing that across the board, which is great. So for me, that was a really big show, big takeaway.
Right.
Good. And for me, it was also great to be able to meet. So we've had a couple of customers here. I grew up largely in the aerospace and defense side, but also in manufacturing, but with time in industrial and high-tech electronics and a few others. But one of the reasons I came to Infor is in Iraq in 2008. I had it's an Army Special Operations team on the ground, psychological operations, and we had a platoon from SEAL Team 3 was there. It was Chris Kyle, so it's in the movie American Sniper. And remember, it was pretty wild. So I remember at one point our driver identified what ended up being about a 25-pound bag of homemade explosives, roadside bomb, remote detonator on top, and he said, "Look, we got to get our vehicle with the the jammer in the bubble so that we can protect the guys on the ground from this explosive device." So for about a couple hours, I'm looking out my window at this bag of explosives, and you can get readings on the jammer that basically the bad guys are trying to set it off to hurt us. And we made it through that that situation. It was able to be diffused and taken away. That vehicle, the boards and the jammers, the radios, they're all built on Infor software, all of it. So like the only reason I'm standing here is to be able. So I get to meet a couple of customers that built some of that equipment, and some of the more senior members of the company here that I hadn't had a chance to meet who were around during that time contributed to me being here. So for me, it was a really special personal experience as well, in addition to all the technical things.
That's super cool. I had not heard that story before.
Yeah.
So. And it's funny
Well.
because there's something comforting about knowing that the same technology that did that could potentially run our business, and
It's amazing.
And maybe the stakes are a little lower than that. The stakes
Yeah.
are there, but they're for all of us. They are for you.
I mean, so if you want to talk about quality control, I mean, I literally had to put my life on the line with it, and it worked out in the end. So, I mean, the software is always continuing to improve. I'm always amazed at the enhancements that are being made, and it's a reflection of what comes in from the customer base, right? In terms of like, where's the industry going? Do we have that forward look? We're making the investments, and from what I've seen since I've been here, There is a strategic roadmap. There's a desire to invest, and there's a desire to ensure that we're keeping up with the latest and greatest. And that's how I continue to grow. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. What do you think of the strategy that Infor is pursuing? And this is something I always ask people in the Infor community. Is the composable ERP lack of one size fits all solution that Infor has intentionally pursued? How do you, because you look at Infor and then you compare it to like Microsoft, or I'm sorry, Oracle or SAP, for example, Workday. They're primarily I've got one solution. NetSuite's the same way too. I've got one solution. It's fast and it either works for you or it doesn't. Whereas Infor, it's not quite that simple. It's not that quite simple. There's multiple solutions. You've got Velocity. You've got all these other tools. How do you think the industry is headed that way, or what do you think, or is this just a unique value proposition for you?
So for a long time, there was a mindset amongst the customer base and the community. Well, if everything's fully natively integrated, integration is a big problem. We don't want to deal with the disparate software, and so Infor has built that in cloud suites, but with a recognition that if you do that, it can't be completely one size fits all. So while they've successfully integrated and produced cloud suites out there with all the bells and whistles you would need in one system, they haven't built it in a sense that it's probably the best way to put it. Could a car factory probably be converted to build tanks, or could a warehouse somewhere be converted to distribution? Yes, but that's not primarily what they do. So the software system that's made for one isn't across the board the same. It needs to be specific to those areas of the business that are different, that's germane to that business and that particular industry. And so Infor made the decision, rightfully so, that between that and micro verticals underneath, we need to ensure that there's functionality and software that is unique and capable of handling those. At the same time, make sure that there's a baseline system where there's commonality for all of our users across the board. And so it's been, I think, a delicate balancing act that they've successfully managed for the last decades coming up to this point right now. So we've got great cloud suite products that are industry specific. So it'll give you all the base that you need, plus the industry specific functionality. So you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of bolt-ons, and it gives you everything in one spot. So that's really, really kind of unique. And I think it's been a really successful strategy.
Right. It's very cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time here today. I know you're right in the middle of stuff right now, and I appreciate you doing it. Yes. It's great news. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Enjoy the rest of the conference too. Thanks. All right, now he shows up. Steve Levy. So I've got one dead battery already, one dead mic, so we've got to share this one, unfortunately.
All right, we can pass it.
But you're going to do most of the talking anyway. So
I am.
Steve Levy, known you for a while now. Tell us about yourself. Not everyone knows you. Everyone should know you, but they don't necessarily know you.
Well, I'm Steve Levy, and I'm honored to be here with Eric Kimberling. I mean, just a legend in the software implementation business. What we do is really hard for our customers. I mean, even sophisticated customers like Boeing and Kodak, for example, they really need help to take advantage and to really start to use the technology that we build. So as an industry, I mean, it's great that we build good technology and do all these automations with AI. It's really cool. But if nobody could use them, it'd be useless. So you turn our technology into usable technology. And for that, we thank you, man.
Oh, thank you. That's the real reason I wanted you on this podcast here today, so you could
just for that plug,
just so we could get a plug from you.
I'd give you a hug. We'll cut it out after.
Oh, there we go.
Are we live?
Oh, we're live. Yeah.
Oh, then we won't cut that out.
Dozens of people just saw this.
Amazing. Dozens of people. Threes of people are fixated by our conversation.
Yes. So tell us about, you've been doing this a while at Infor, especially. Tell us about the evolution of Infor. What are you excited about? What pivots do you see happening right now that we're learning about here today? What are you most excited about?
Well, the industry AI agents are really exciting. The ability for the computer to actually be an assistant and to help you get stuff done faster instead of to just be a repository of the stuff that we as users put into it is really exciting to me. And I think it'll be really exciting to our users. But as we mentioned, they have to adopt it first. Once they adopt it and start using it, and there's a real concern there. I mean, I do think that a lot of users are afraid of obsolescence. They're afraid that these agents will be automated and replace their usefulness. They will not. They will simply make you more efficient and able to get so much more done with the same staff you have today. So that's what excites me the most.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what do you think about, I've asked a few people this question now. Curious to get your take. This whole trend towards composable ERP, in other words, not one size fits all. And some, there's merit in both arguments here, both sides of the equation. You've got call it the SAP and NetSuite approach, where we've got our flagship solution, and that's the one you're going to get. And if you're not on that one, you're not going to get all the innovation, all that stuff. And then there's the other extreme, which is total best of breed, where I just go out and find a bunch of different technologies that happen to work together. And then Infor is sort of in the middle, maybe leaning more towards that latter direction. how do you see Infor fitting in when it comes to the whole composable ERP versus single unified integrated ERP debate? That will probably never get resolved, by the way.
It will not. So my perspective is probably different than the other people at Infor because, as you know, I'm crazy. I think that's the real differentiator
That's why I
between
wanted
me.
to be on this.
Exactly. Glad to be here. I believe that the entire conversation about composable ERP is because nobody wants to change ERPs. It's so much easier to plug in a general ledger or a CRM or a capability than it is to have open heart surgery and really replace your core. And I think it's a valid argument. I've long advocated for features and capabilities to be composed on the edges, but you do need a strong, solid core. And a lot of us are running with a core that was built over 35 years of customizations and mods. There's security risks, and they're not designed for the cloud. So I do think the conversation is really valid. I think it's dangerous for those that are on premise to look at a purely composable solution without making sure that their existing architecture is secure.
Yeah.
Because the future is going to have some cybersecurity risks in it. I think that on-premise software is marking time towards security risks. Our users, while resistant to adopt technology, are very, very likely to click on links generated by AI to incentivize them to click. Please click here. Somebody needs your help. Your company needs this. The impersonalizations, like it's getting really easy to start to phish people and get them to click. And that makes the on-premise systems highly more vulnerable than they ever were before.
Yeah. Now, I know you're involved quite a bit on the business development side too. So you're seeing customers before they're customers in many cases, and you're working with the sales teams that do that as well. Are you guys intentionally trying to pick up any of the legacy ERP customers, like for example, SAP, Microsoft, or someone's implementing NetSuite, but that's just for financials. They need a distribution solution or a manufacturing solution or whatever to sit on top of that. Are you guys going after that market with the Velocity toolset, or are you still trying to stick to we're primarily an ERP company that happens to do the AI and integration platform type stuff?
Working with both the sales team and the customer success team, we're so busy. I don't know that we're actually going after people per se. We're not out there pursuing opportunities actively. They're just falling towards us.
Right.
So we are finding a lot of the competitor systems are coming our way. We have an amazing warehouse management system. So specifically, a lot of the SAP users are coming to us for WMS these days. I don't know that it's actually us pursuing them or them just coming to us because the products are so good that they're really getting a life of their own.
Yeah.
We've long been the innovator's choice. Now we seem to be getting some mainstream adoption. It's probably my fault. Let's say that I have been pursuing this and I'm rounding that corner for us, but I don't know that it's true. I think that just good quality and meritocracy, when you create good products that create value for your customers, they talk about it. They brag to their friends, and then their friends call us up.
Yeah. Well, I see too, Infor seems to fit really well, at least with our client base. And we're not affiliated with Infor, as many people watching know. We're not affiliated with Infor or anywhere else. But when we do see Infor fit well, it's usually the types of organizations that are complex, diverse, global. They need a certain amount of flexibility. They want that single integration, or they want that, I don't want to say single integration, but they want that integrated solution, single source of truth, solid analytics, all that stuff. But they also want the flexibility operationally. And it seems like that's where you guys really thrive and compete well.
It's counterintuitive that we're both really good at enforcing a target operating model and being flexible enough to know when to deviate. But oddly, that is the market segment that we're satisfying, is we're finding that large companies today have areas of their business that are highly regulated and need full compliance.
Yeah.
They also have boutique holdings in their operating companies that kind of need flexibility, and their go-to-market has been being the easy person to do business with in their region. And I feel that we're the only software company that really serves both sides of those market segments. And maybe that's why the middle's coming our way these days, because we have both extremes already handled.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. What else should people know as they're thinking about Infor or any other ERP solution for that matter? What's the one piece of advice that leave the audience with here?
The one piece of advice I would leave is that as a distributor or manufacturer, or whatever your chosen business is, you don't really pick ERPs professionally. Guys like me will sing the praises of Infor. Guys like me at SAP will sing the praises of SAP. What I find distributors and business people tend to do is they just pick the company that they identify with most. That's not a great technological investment. Spend the investment to get an objective person like Eric or one of his competitors to really do the research for you, to keep people like me and my peers honest. We are honest and we have integrity, but we also accentuate the positive, and Eric makes sure to cut through that bull poop. Is that what we call it when we're live?
It's a technical term. But
technical term.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Steve. Really appreciate you being here today. And yeah, it was great to always good to chat with you and enjoy the rest of the conference. And we might get you back on camera again later tonight.
Amazing. It was great to see you. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah,
I'll see you soon.
good seeing you. All right, so Steve Levy from Infor, he's the head of distribution there. And we're actually going to do a part 2 of this. Most likely, I'm hoping that we do this live this evening. There's a networking event where we'll get a chance to talk to more people in addition to who we've already spoken with. But just a couple of things I wanted to point out while we're here talking about it is we are about to release our top 10 enterprise technologies for 2026, and this isn't just ERP systems. This is enterprise technology in general. And in that list, it starts to blur the lines, which we've already been doing for the last couple of years when we do these top 10 rankings, these independent agnostic rankings. We've already been sort of blurring the lines between ERP, BI, CRM, platforms, AI, all that stuff. And what we're finding now is that instead of categorizing everything into a neat box, why not do a top 10 ranking of top enterprise systems? And Infor CloudSuite, when combined with Velocity, is in that top 10 list. So keep an eye out for that on my YouTube channel. That'll be released, I believe, either this week or next. So, and by the time you watch this, if you're watching this on demand, it may already be released. So be sure to check out my YouTube channel. But you'll see traditional ERP providers like Infor in that list. You'll see SAP, NetSuite, but you'll also see some non-ERP providers like Palantir, Snowflake, etc. So be sure to check that out. But this has been a great event. I'm going to sign off for now. And again, watch for us to go live later today. And then tomorrow I'll be speaking with Kevin and Soma, really the top 2 people, number 1 and number 2 within Infor. So we'll talk to them a little bit more about their global strategy, where they see the company going, where they see the industry going as well. So thanks for being here today, and we'll see you again soon.